Hey guys, my name is Christina.
My name is Brian, and welcome to What the Fuck Did I Just Watch?
Where every week we will be rolling a 26-face die that will determine the first letter of the movie we will watch this week.
The twist is that one of us, or both of us, have never seen the movie before.
So join us as we share our thoughts on the movie.
I mean, that's gonna be horrible, but yes, absolutely.
Have a few laughs.
Stop it. And discuss what the fuck we just watched.
Welcome back, what the fuckers.
That was so unexpected. Hello, everyone. All 40. I don't know how many people
I don't know. I lost count because there's so few.
Thank you for following us along on this journey.
Yes, indeed.
We've been having a lot of fun. So
Indeed. And I hope everybody enjoyed our special episode last week for our top TV movie friendships.
yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Cousin Ashley, former guest host of our show, said that it was one of her favorite episodes.
Oh, that's
So,
awesome.
it looks like-
shout out to Cousin Ashley.
Yeah. It went over better than our first bonus episode, which went down like...
Yeah, y'all didn't like that.
No, nobody did.
I mean, it's fine.
It Titanic'd hard.
So, Pants and I have had some time to think. And I know we had told you guys that we were going to kind of revamp things.
Mm-hmm.
So this month
Is the end.
of the world as we know it.
No.
Oh.
Of the show.
Thank you so much for coming along on this journey. It's been so great. We're not going anywhere. So, we've decided that we're going to do decades. So we've got a couple cool movies coming up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so every week we will do a different decade. So the first week of the month we are going to do 60s, second week 70s, 80s, and 90s. So for the foreseeable future, until we decide to reformat again when we get bored of this one, then we won't be going into the 2000s.
Yes.
Or pre-60s.
What did you call them?
The aughts.
The aughts.
Is what they're called now.
Yeah, who came up with that? And that's kind of strange to say.
Aughts.
Aughts.
Rolls off the tongue.
Does it?
Mm-hmm. So to start off the new format, we are going to be doing 1968's Night of the Living Dead, because we know how much Tina loves a good zombie movie.
Okay, so I had never seen the trailer for Train to Busan. Is that how you say it? But I've always heard like really
so
good things about it. And I think that it's available on Netflix.
That or HBO, but I know you might have seen it because I own it, so you might see it in like my library. Okay,
that's a possibility. Either way, it came up, and I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to give the trailer a shot just to kind of see what this is about. Terrifying.
I thought you were going to say you watched it and surprised me.
No, I mean, honestly, like that's why I watched the trailer, is because I was going to try and convince myself that it was okay. But they actually recently had a release on Netflix called The Red Sky.
Okay.
Is that what it's called?
I think so.
That's also kind of like a vampire zombie type of movie or whatever. And I don't know. I digress. Moving on. The trailer for the Train to Busan is alarming, to say the least. I've mentioned numerous times that anything running that is dead is terrifying for me, and there was a lot of that. Not to mention, at one point in time in the trailer, there's like zombies hanging on to the back of the train, forming like a wedding train veil looking thing. Scary.
It's so cool.
That's really scary.
It's such a good movie.
I'm sure that the movie is very good because, like I said, I've heard nothing but excellent things about it. I cannot get past the fact that I'm a chicken shit. I don't know what it is about my brain that just
I will say the sequel leaves a lot to be desired.
There's another one?
We're a little bit of side tangent. It takes place in the same world.
Okay.
Like the events of the first one did happen.
Okay.
But this movie has nothing to do with those characters.
Oh, okay.
Because most of them die anyway. Spoiler alert. But
that was supposed to come before you said that.
It's okay. The second one is like it's almost like Mad Max with zombies. Like it takes place in like the underground world of the zombie apocalypse, and they're like doing like zombie cage fights and driving cars erratically, and it's weird. I wish I had waited for it to come on sale before I just bought it.
Well, I mean, if you really liked the first one, there's no reason for you to think that sequels are not always hits.
Correct. But I will say, Train to Busan is like, it's on the daylight. There's not like a shit ton of jump scares, so you might, and you're going to be spending a lot of time reading subtitles anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
You should watch it.
I don't know why, and I love foreign films. I think they're great. I don't know why I'm bringing this up, but I think that it's worth mentioning that in the time period between episodes, I also saw, and I know you've seen it too, the Tomorrow War. Mm-hmm. And the only reason I bring it up is because I have to mention that for those of you who have not seen it, it's fun, but the movie is total garbage. Mm-hmm. So there's one scene in that movie that, for whatever reason, when I was watching the trailer for A Train to Busan, it kind of brought me back to it.
Is this going to spoil anything for anybody who hasn't seen
I'm literally about to give you guys, a warning. So if you have not seen it and you plan on watching it, just like fast forward this like 30 seconds so that you don't catch it. But at one point, they inject the mother alien or whatever with the antidote poison thing. And
the mother monster.
Mother monster. And you like see it start decaying her body, and then she just rips her freaking appendage off, like her arm, with her mouth, and then like looks back at them like, okay, bitch, let's go. And that was the best thing that I have seen cinematically in a while. So it was really satisfying because it was very unexpected. Especially because, again, the movie was garbage. And I thought they did such a good job with that. So congratulations, producers and directors and cast of The Tomorrow War. That's
the best thing you've seen cinematically in a while. We really need to get you
back on the
train of watching movies. Because for anybody behind the scenes, this is actually our first recording in almost a month.
Yeah.
We had a lot of episodes backlog that we could use, and we took some time off to just recoup and stuff like that. So yeah, Tina's just been watching shit since then, apparently. So
I mean, okay, maybe the best thing I've seen cinematically, it's not the appropriate way to put that, but it was so good. It was very unexpected and it made me laugh, and this was not a comedy.
That movie was ludicrous. It was ridiculous.
So yeah, if you haven't seen it, you just want something for kicks and giggles to put on in the background while you do laundry, The Tomorrow War is a good option.
Over 2 hours.
Yeah.
Such a long fucking movie.
I imagine you'll do laundry, dishes, your bed, vacuum, because you really don't need to listen to it.
You don't. No. No, you get what's happening.
Anyways, back to the topic at hand. I just thought I'd kind of, give you a little, Yep, that happened.
Cool.
So, Pants.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you so excited to talk about this movie?
I am, because we watched it a month ago. I've been trying so hard to just keep a memory of it. And I watched some of it today, and I was like, okay, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just like kind of initial thoughts on Night of the Living Dead, I'm sorry, the 1968 classic. You guys know that I'm not into zombies.
What?
This movie was a refreshing change of pace.
Stroll through the park.
It really was.
Cemetery.
In comparison to, what did we recently watch?
Dawn of the Dead.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that movie was funny, but this one was so great. And I love your classic like horror movies. Mm-hmm. They're a lot easier for me to digest because they're not as alarming as CGI has allowed directors to do now. Yeah. But I enjoyed it. It was great. I mean, you and I have had like small conversations here and there about it, but generally overall, this was a really great movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This movie holds probably like a special place with me because it was, I think I do this like every episode. like why this movie means something to me.
And that's okay.
So I'm sorry, but
Those of you who don't care, I guess fast forward.
Yeah,
like
I mean,
5 minutes.
this is probably gonna be 3 to 5 minutes.
Yes.
My cousin Ashley, we used to go to my grandparents' house for the summer, and they lived in like the middle of fucking nowhere near Dallas, Texas, and we would just go up to like they didn't even have a Blockbuster in the town. It was a movie gallery.
That's
and
awesome.
It was all VHS, and we would rent just like Living Dead movies. Like we went through a summer where we just went back and got whatever was literally to the right of the movie we just got before.
Nice.
So we watched this Night Living Dead. I think we actually rented the 90s or the 1990 remake, but I didn't remember that at all because I watched that since we watched the original as well, which is much better. We can talk about that later. But and we watched Children of the Living Dead, which is this really bad, like straight to video, corny ass. Oh God, it was so bad. Like even the cover looks like something like a 4-year-old made in Microsoft Paint. But so yeah, that's kind of where that was the first time I had actually watched this movie, and I just remember like we were I think already kind of accustomed to modern day horror at that point.
Mm-hmm.
I mean modern for when we were children.
Sure.
But so definitely probably mid to late 90s, I guess. It was still like it was corny, but you know, in a good way. Like I think we both kind of appreciated what it was because it had so much like acclaim, and we knew that. But anyway, that didn't take very long.
No, that
was great.
That wasn't a long-winded explanation.
Yeah. So
you saved us today.
Yeah, you're welcome. The Snyder cut of that conversation will be later, and it'll be 8 hours long. But yeah,
in a 16-part series.
I'm just gonna do a whole separate podcast on my memories of movies. But yeah, I love this movie. It is a classic. It's really not as cheesy as I remembered it being. I haven't watched it in years, but I went into it thinking, you know, set my expectations. I know it's a good movie, but there's gonna be cheese, and they're really.
Ew.
No, there was just ham and chocolate sauce, no cheese. But yeah, it's a great movie, and I recommend anybody watch it.
Yeah, no, it was definitely fun, and I also appreciated just like really looking at the differences between what you said, movies now versus then. And it was fun. It was a good change, and I can see why it's a classic.
Mm-hmm. I mean, this was like the first of the modern zombie genre. Like there was zombie movies in I think the 30s, really fucking old ones, but we won't be watching those.
Yeah,
but
where they just go.
Yeah, and I think this was actually the first one that they incorporated cannibalism into it, because they were just trying to figure out what to do to make the zombies more gruesome, scary.
Yeah.
They're like,
and they did a
fucking make
great job with
eat
that.
People. Yeah,
there was a lot of
ham.
There was a lot of controversy for this movie when it came out. People had never seen anything like this before, and so it was really freaking people out. I'd like to talk to those same people about what they think about movies like Train to Busan. It's so crazy how things have developed in such a short period of time. Like you think about it, that was like 50 years ago. 60 years ago.
It was more than that.
And
more than 50.
Yeah. And I mean, things have, really changed. But it was a really fun movie. I don't know if anybody's into trailers like I am, but I originally watched the trailer before we ever dove into the movie. And I'm not going to lie to you, like, although the trailer wasn't necessarily scary, it still gave me quite a bit of apprehension knowing we were about to go into a zombie movie. But even looking at like trailers now and then, it's really, really cool to me to see all the different changes that people have made. I mean, we don't even have narrators over trailers anymore.
Right.
Like it's just cut footage from the movie with like badass soundtracks behind it.
Exactly. It was also really refreshing, even now, nowadays in 2021, seeing it, but knowing what it was to have an actor of color being like the main star of this movie in the 60s.
Yeah.
Like, that's a thing. Like, and from what I read up on it, that wasn't like a conscious choice. He just did the best job of the actors that they auditioned. So, I mean, they didn't really have to change much for the role. I don't even, unless I'm missing something, I don't think it's ever even acknowledged that he's not white.
Yeah. No, I don't think so.
Like,
nobody ever makes a stench about it in the movie.
Right.
I think they have a lot to worry about, zombies trying to break into the house and everything.
I don't think so.
They're too busy to be like, what is going on here?
Too busy punching Barbara.
Oh my, poor Barbara.
God, Barbara's a bitch.
She gets a lot of abuse in this movie.
Rightfully so. I hated her. I don't condone hitting women. I'm just saying her character was very annoying. And when we get into spoilers, I do want to do some comparisons to the remake, but
I'm sad I've never seen the remake.
I couldn't stand Barbara, and I didn't remember hating Barbara as much.
Yeah.
From the first time.
Yeah.
I watched it, but all she does is whine and talk about Johnny and make up stories.
Yeah.
Her recollection of things are not how we just watched it 5 minutes ago.
I mean,
Barbara.
I know she's in shock, but you don't have to lie.
I know. You don't have to make shit up. Just get your point across. Christ. Entitled
yeah, and I thought
women.
it was really interesting that, kind of doing a little bit of research on the back end of the movie, that her character was originally, and I know you're going to touch on it a little bit, but I don't think this is really spoilery, but I thought it was really interesting that her character originally was supposed to be like a strong woman.
Yeah. Like
and
badass.
the director liked her being kind of like the damsel in distress and ran with it. Yeah, I'm just that.
It didn't work.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I think that her character honestly was a little bit more annoying than anything else.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we'll get into it in a little bit. Are you ready for the synopsis?
No. Do you have it?
Yeah.
Oh, good, because I didn't.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. No, I got your back.
Great. Yes.
All right, let's
me
do
with
it.
it.
Night of the Living Dead, 1968. A ragtag group of Pennsylvanians barricade themselves in an old farmhouse to remain safe from a horde of flesh-eating ghouls that are ravaging the East Coast of the United States. Only the East Coast.
Yeah. We don't care about the West Coast.
They're not there yet.
No. They're slow moving.
Yeah. No, they're not. Ladies and gentlemen, it is that time of the podcast. Time to tell you who was starring. I was about to enter with spoiler warnings.
Yeah, no.
It has been a month. Okay, let's do this. Pants.
All
roll
right.
it.
So, Night of the Living Dead is starring Dwayne Jones, Judith O'Dea, Carl Hardman, and Marilyn Eastman. And George A. Romero is the director.
Cool. Yeah, they had a budget of $114,000 and it grossed $30 million.
Worldwide, to date.
That is nuts.
Yes.
Oh,
And-
worldwide to date. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nuts.
But-
It has a rating on IMDb of 7.9, and on Rotten Tomatoes, it's got a 97% with an audience score of 87%.
Yes, and it is available on HBO Max and Shudder if you are subscribed.
Why are there so many streaming services?
That's a different podcast. We don't have time for this. But I have them both. So, George Romero did not see a lot of money off of this, just because, back in that time, he didn't really understand how, distribution deals worked. And he got really gypped on the profit for this movie. So, I mean, he did go on, of course, to make a name for himself, and he made Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, many deads. And so yeah, he didn't suffer too much, but this is probably, I think I read it was the most, or one of the most successful indie films ever made.
Yeah.
So
It's honestly great.
oh yeah, rightfully so.
Yeah.
Those are our initial thoughts. So I'm going to hit you with a trailer, and then we will go into spoilers for Night of the Living Dead.
Here we go.
Welcome to a night of total terror. Night of the living dead. The dead who live on living flesh. The dead whose haunted souls hunt the living. The living whose bodies are the only food for these ungodly creatures. Night of the living dead.
So great trailer.
Yeah, the best.
Totes. All right. So, Tina,
Yeah, I want to get this
say something.
this podcast rolling. I really enjoyed the opening scene.
Mhm.
I mean, not enjoyed like, oh, the best part ever, but I thought it was really cool again to kind of see some of the changes. It's been a very long time since I've seen a camera parked, and it's literally just a long shot of this car rolling up this hillside. And then it passes the camera, and then it swaps again, and then it's a long shot. I mean, I think it was a total of like 3 or 4 like really long shots of just this car.
Right.
And you don't see that anymore. And I thought that was really fun. It was just very different from what I'm kind of used to looking at.
There's not a lot of like quick cuts in
Yes.
between different things like there is now.
Yes. And so I thought that was super entertaining. And I also love black and white movies. I think there's something really special because now everything is in color, which is fine. But there's just something really cool about not necessarily focusing on that, but the story. And I think that his decision, or, making this movie or watching it in black and white.
I think it was his decision.
Right?
If
Because I think color
read
came
that
out
right.
in like the...
Yeah, color was an option. This was like a creative choice on Romero's part.
I feel like a dumbass not knowing when color came out.
I don't...
Was it in the 50s?
Probably.
I think it was. I
Yeah.
remember Googling it, but now I don't remember.
I'm trying to think of like Lucy or Bewitched.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But yeah, so great, so refreshing to see a black and white film that's not the Snyder cut. Just so stupid.
God, I forgot about that. Why did I watch
Because
that?
you complained about it a lot.
I know, but I tried to like just shove it out of my memory successfully until now.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Reintroductions.
But I imagine did help him a lot with budget as well, because I mean the blood was chocolate syrup, and which is the same. I mean, tons of movies did that, but like Psycho did that as well for the shower scene.
Yeah.
And as we hinted at before, the flesh that they're eating was it ham or roast beef?
I can't remember, but either way, do you think that chocolate and ham would really be that disgusting?
Yes. Everything about that sounds gross.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it'd be unpleasant, but not enough to make me queasy as hell.
I'm so excited for you to try it then.
Let's do it. We'll make a TikTok.
Okay. I'm not doing it, but I will watch you do it.
We will absolutely be making a TikTok where the two of us do it.
Mm.
It's not entertaining if it's just me.
It is.
Absolutely not. We're going to recreate that scene. Figure out how to make it in black and white.
That's a filter now, so that's fine.
Oh, is it? Nice. And yeah, we're going to eat ham and chocolate.
Okay. Stefan can be the dead body.
That's so wonderful. I'm down.
Okay. Kind of excited now. All right, we're going to do it. So anyway, yeah, the actors, playing zombies had a lot of sickness and nausea filming this just because they were eating meat and chocolate.
Yeah.
Which is disgusting, but
you would have thought that maybe like we could have done, I guess it doesn't flow the same way, but I was thinking like introducing coloring to like honey. And then you could have just had honey ham. I feel like it's pretty liquidy enough to like drip, but
yeah, but it's probably too thick.
Yeah.
Honey's thick. Imagine how sticky that would be. Oh my god, that's my nightmare. I hate it.
I saw your face literally panic.
No, ugh. I can't. I don't even like holding a thing of honey, like, because I'm afraid the outside's gonna be sticky. No, I can't. I love honey though. I just don't.
I know.
I don't like handling it.
No,
Someone needs to do it for me.
It's like when you're at the restaurant and you reach for the ketchup bottle and it's sticky and you're like, why is this sticky?
I don't need ketchup.
Yeah. Pants
So
equals no condiments.
that's correct, except honey. I really appreciated how new the whole zombie genre was at this point, because there weren't really rules.
Yeah.
Like as we stated before, this was kind of your introduction to flesh-eating zombies. And I mean, the word zombie isn't even mentioned, but that's what they're. Ghouls and sick and unwell. I have a list. Creatures from outer space is used as well. Misshapen monsters, things. But, there wasn't a consistent speed to them.
Sure.
I mean, they weren't running, but they were like mall walking at some points, and and then others staggering and doing the typical zombie thing. But they're kind of smart in that the first one we see attacking Barbara in the cemetery is really trying to, use the door handle of the car to open the door.
Yeah,
like it knows,
he smashes the windows.
Right. It is intelligent enough to go find a rock or a brick or whatever it was and start pounding on the window. Mm-hmm. Whereas, now zombies in movies are just gonna like smash up against the windows and like slobber on it and probably bang their head on it.
Yeah.
But they are, I don't think they're conscious that this is how I get in.
Right. I mean, you kind of look
tools.
at, I mean, if we want to compare a movie, for example, like Dawn of the Dead,
Mm-hmm.
like you see them banging on the windows, but I don't think there's a real conscientious effort of like trying to actively break the window. It's just more of a like, I see you there and I'm trying to get to you.
Right. And they're not using doorknobs.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that would be just kind of stupid if they were just,
I did think that was really interesting. I mean, there's also a scene where, they're already in the house and that's after Ben gets introduced and his car's outside. He still has the lights on to his car. He's trying to get, information out of Barbara. And yeah, the zombies outside like grab, I think it was a brick. We'll just go with that. And start smashing his lights out.
Yeah,
like,
because they don't like light.
What?
Right.
So yeah, it was really cool to see that, and exactly like you said, there aren't any rules, so that almost gave me a little bit more room to be anxious.
Yeah.
Because if there are no rules, then I have no idea what the heck is coming.
Right. And it kind of feels like the progression of zombies kind of went from, this very semi-smart zombie that we see here, and they just kind of get progressively more dumb, mm-hmm. and then kind of smart again. Yeah. Like there's like a wave. Yeah. And so now with, depending on what undead movie you see now, they're running most likely. They're smart to the extent that they're like pack animals, whereas in this they're all kind of, they're fighting over meat, and they're just kind of
like acting
lone
alone.
Wolves. Yeah. Yeah. So
they might be in a group, but they're not working with that pack mentality.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And like, I think I brought it up for the Dawn of the Dead, but in The Walking Dead, they're very much like there's hordes, and you see them all kind of, if one hears something and kind of turns, then they all kind of, it's like a flock of birds pretty much,
Mm-hmm.
So in this, they didn't do any of that.
Yeah. I mean, even outside, they're kind of just like aimlessly walking around. There's no directive.
Yeah. For a late 60s movie, this was like hella brutal. Like, as far as, I mean, of course, like the violence goes. Yeah. But I mean, I was like taken back because like we see I think Ben like puts a crowbar through one's head in the very beginning, and it doesn't really shy away from that. There's a ton of headshots in the movie because it's established that that's what kills them, and the backhanding. A lot of backhanding, and I mean Barbara started it. So, he just hit a lot harder.
That was very...
He knocked her the fuck out.
Yeah, it was really alarming the first time I saw it. And I say the first time because there are multiple scenes in which Barbara gets slapped around a bit. And I know she's distressed and she's in shock. But they definitely don't stray away from, I don't know, being reactive. Like, that was kind of alarming for Ben to just slap her and be like, look, I'm sorry.
I think that was kind of the first time after initially seeing Ben that it sank in that, he's a black man.
Uh-huh.
And how that looks in the lens of today.
Yeah.
That he just like knocked her the fuck out.
Uh-huh. And
again, I don't blame him.
Yeah.
Like my notes literally say Ben smacked the shit out of her. Good for him. And I don't condone hitting women or hitting anybody. But she was very panicked and trying to get her dead brother. But
poor Johnny.
Poor Johnny. He was there and then he wasn't.
Yeah.
They make a lot of stupid mistakes or make a lot of stupid decisions. I'll say maybe not mistakes. 'Cause none of these really, so here's my example. When Ben is trying to distract him outside.
Okay.
He starts like throwing furniture and stuff outside and lighting it on fire because they don't like fire.
Yeah.
This whole house that they're in is wooden and old as fuck. Even by 60s standards, it's old.
And grass leading all the way up to the stairs.
Yeah. I mean, it was black and white, so I don't know if it was like dried grass, but we're going to assume it was.
Okay.
So that house could have easily been burned down, and there's a sick child downstairs.
Even if you ignore the fact that the grass goes all the way to the house, he puts gasoline in it to make it,
he puts
light
like
up.
lighter fluid on everything.
Yeah.
And he's just like carrying around a lit torch around the house, and I'm like, the lights are on. And later in the movie, we're fast forwarding a bit. They're trying to put gas in the truck, and they're out by this like remote gas pump that's on the land for some reason, and there's a lock on it, and their brilliant idea, I think it's Ben's idea.
Yeah.
He does it. He takes a shotgun and tries to blow the lock off the gas pump.
Yeah.
And that's like the last place you want to fire a firearm, Ben.
As soon as it happened and it didn't explode, I said, not a fucking chance in hell.
Right. He blows it off and it's fine.
Yeah.
So I will bring up that part in the 90s remake is so satisfying because it's not Ben that does it, but it's I don't remember the two like teenage lovers names. It was them that did. I think I have Tom, who's like the teenage boy that's there. He shoots the gas lock. It explodes the pump. It explodes the truck, killing him and Judy.
Spoilers for
the other version
of this movie.
But I was
We're
just
really bad about putting that at the end.
Anyways.
I
mean, it's fine. I don't know where they can watch that one, but it was so good.
Yeah.
Like for a remake of a beloved classic movie, the 1990 version is very good.
Nice.
And like Romero had a part in it. I believe he actually wrote it.
Oh, okay.
And
finally made the female lead not a
not a
damsel.
He kind of made the version that he didn't have like the money to make at that point. And I think that one cost him $4.2 million.
Okay.
To make. But yeah, there's like some differences. One weird one being Johnny at the beginning when he's like tormenting her. He's, like, they're coming to get you, Barbara. They're horny, Barbara.
Oh,
I was like,
that's weird.
Okay, I don't like that. But yeah, Barbara is amazing in the remake.
Nice.
Like, she's like this badass, like short hair, like boy cut. I guess it maybe like pixie cut now.
Uh-huh.
So cool. Like, she's like wielding a shotgun and she's kind of like Ash from Evil Dead, but with all her limbs and they're both fighting the undead.
Yeah,
they would have made a great couple.
I wanted to backtrack just a little bit.
Yes, I'm sorry.
And I'm trying to remember what the point was. Oh, you were talking about how zombies in this movie, or ghouls, we're going to call them zombies.
They're zombies.
How they have, I wrote like they have different abilities, which looking back on it, like that's dumb. But what I'm trying to get at is they are different in how they respond. And exactly I guess to further prove your point. He takes a very long time with the door open, putting all of these things out into the yard for him to set it on fire. And, the zombies are kind of like looking at him, but like slowly approaching him versus other parts where they're very fast moving and they're coming after you very quickly and they're strong.
It's not super consistent.
Yeah. And so, he takes a very long time to put these things out into the yard and then catches it on fire. And they're still not even really in like standing distance of him. And so that put me at ease a little bit, because if there are no rules, then that clearly was fine. And there's another scene where Ben gets stranded because Judy and Tom just died in this freaking tragic, like, I don't know what happens. Essentially, the truck catches on fire with like the gas tank open, also with a rag hanging out of it that's on fire. I don't remember. Yeah. But Ben is isolated and there's many zombies around him, and yet with this tiny little torch in his hand, he manages to run through like a whole forest to get to the house, and none of these zombies like are able to get him. It didn't make any sense. Good for you, Ben. Only to turn around and die. But I think that was a hair frustrating, but also I was like, okay, so he's not going to die. We're good. And then only for him to, die from a bullet wound of that little group that is hunting zombies who didn't even bother to check if Ben was zombie or human.
Right.
They're just vigilantes killing anything that moves.
Yeah, that was also like tough to watch through 2021 lens.
Yeah.
Just like a group of like hick-ass redneck dudes shooting a black man point blank for no reason.
Yeah.
Because they thought he was something else.
Yeah.
And I mean, this movie, so I mean, depending on who you ask, this movie has something to say about racism and, the state of the world at that point. And I mean, this point as well, but Romero has said that he didn't have that in mind when making it. But the following movies like Dawn of the Dead and Day of the Dead did have deeper meaning, I guess, with Dawn of the Dead taking place in the mall and being about consumerism and shit like that. This one, I again, didn't find racist until the end. And I don't think, I'm not really sure that that's what he was going for.
Yeah, like it wasn't necessarily intentional.
Right. But it's hard to not think about that, having had the last 2 years that we've had here. So, yeah, Barbara.
Yeah.
That was really confusing because I didn't remember that happening. And I rewound the movie multiple times because she just goes away.
Yeah.
And it's not really said what happens.
Well, I think I was the one that told you that, the door somehow manages to get open with no zombies coming inside. However, Barbara gets pulled and it's Johnny. I mean, it doesn't have his, I think it's Johnny. He doesn't have his glasses. But that's why she's like, nah. Like she makes a bigger deal out of it because it's, at least that's how I interpreted it. Is that she made a bigger deal out of it because it was her brother. Because you see her like flailing and going, no, like I mean,
the whole movie.
You're about to die. But I mean, I guess it could be more hurtful that it's your brother. Because I think she has an opportunity to like get away, but she's in such shock seeing him that she kind of is paralyzed in place. And then the zombies just kind of pull her out of the house.
She needs another good smacking.
Yeah. Except now she's dead.
Oh, well.
Eating chocolate ham.
I love that. She lives in the remake. Spoiler alert again.
It doesn't go after.
Spoiler again. They see Johnny's body in like a pickup truck, and because the group of like the white rednecks are collecting them in the back of trucks to take them to like
a burn site.
Burn pile, yeah. And it makes it very obvious that it is Johnny. Like they linger on it, and I think she's even like,
I couldn't figure out their relation like immediately, and then eventually I figured out that because like it could have potentially gone either
lovers.
way.
Yeah.
And then she never speaks, so you really don't know what the hell is going on.
She just cries.
Which cutting back to kind of her lying. I also thought it was really cool that there were no cut scenes in their monologues. So at one point in time, I don't know who tells their story first. I want to say it's Ben.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, the camera moving up and down, brilliant. You don't see that at all anymore. That was such a good touch. I mean, I know it wasn't purposeful, but
elaborate.
He's giving his monologue, and the person who's filming the scene continues to move. And I don't know if it's because Ben is like getting taller, and so he's trying to keep him, in frame. But you do see the camera moving several times.
Just amateur work.
Yeah, and it was so great. I was like, this is such an indie film. Like, I love it. But it's one long shot. It never cuts to look at Barbara to see what her expression is or anything like that. It literally stays.
She's probably crying.
It literally stays focused on him. And same with Barbara, right? When she's giving her lie, it never it never cuts to Ben.
That's because he's just like winding up his backhand.
I love how she's like, one more time, can I have some candy, Barbara? I don't have any candy, Johnny.
Like, conversation didn't happen.
I know.
She tells Ben like 2 lies in a row.
I know.
And it doesn't benefit her at all.
She's not a very trustworthy person.
No, like she mentions that, that they see the very first zombie coming towards them while they're at their father's gravesite. And, then Johnny starts teasing her or whatever. and the zombie gets like really close, and she just kind of like turns and kind of runs away.
What was this?
I don't know. What am I doing? I don't know. And she's very rude to this zombie if it was a real person, because she doesn't like say hi or whatever. And when she's retelling this to Ben, she's like, yeah, Johnny was just being so immature and teasing me, and I was like, stop it, Johnny. And he was like, they're coming to get you, Barbara. And I was like, stop it, Johnny. I just watched this is how it happened. and she was like, and then I went to try and apologize to this man and on Johnny's behalf and blah blah blah, and he was just, I don't remember now because I stopped listening to her. He tried to bite me, and I was like, no, bitch.
Which
that didn't
also, looking back on that scene, that was pretty entertaining too. There were many opportunities for that zombie to bite Johnny. And he never does. And it's fun to watch that scene and be like, right there. Yeah, you could have bit him there. Okay, yep, that's an open. Okay, we're not biting. Okay.
Well, maybe he's just like a new zombie and he's figuring it out.
Yeah.
He's the first of his kind.
Maybe that's what he's trying to do. It's okay if I bite you.
He's just trying to be polite. And Barbara's just making up stories.
And then since she ran away, he's like, I'm going to break into your car to apologize.
It's her fault. And then all the other ones were like, oh, we're aggressive.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so he was just the leader of the pack.
Roles were just being established as we went. Yeah.
I mean, it's fine because there were none. So we haven't really, and we don't have to spend too much time on them because they were infuriating, but the other like 5 people that are in this movie. So there's Cooper, who is a very abusive husband.
Harry.
Oh, Harry Cooper. Yeah. Okay. I just have down Cooper.
No, you're good.
So yeah, Harry Cooper is someone else who was already in the house in the basement whenever Barbara and Ben locked themselves and barricaded themselves in. He was down in the basement with, I guess, a helper friend of his who was Tom.
Yeah.
Tom, yeah. Who was Tom, and then Tom's girlfriend Judy, and Cooper's wife Helen. and their daughter, who was bitten before they were able to lock themselves in the house. We don't really... I don't know that it's actually established that the bite is what turns you.
Yeah, I think that they...
Because I'm trying to separate my knowledge of how this happens.
Yeah, I think they didn't... I don't think they ever really said that it was a bite. They just said that the dead was coming back to life.
Okay.
Like they were reanimating after a certain amount of time.
Okay.
But I don't think they ever said like a bite did it. It's just that person died and then came back.
Gotcha. So, I mean, I'm assuming that this is just like my headcanon for it, is that she was bitten and whatever like the infection was, you know, is what killed her and turned her. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because it's never explained. But
I think they said that she was running a fever. So something happens to the body.
Right.
Obviously.
But that was like, I knew it was coming, but like seeing like a child
Yeah.
come back and like...
And stab her mommy to death.
That was something
Which didn't
else.
make any sense.
Right. Again, with no rules, but like she takes like a garden shovel type thing,
Sure.
like a garden pick,
Yeah.
and stabs her mom like repeatedly in the stomach.
Yeah.
When
I love how Helen is a full ass woman who
Can't-
probably could have taken her daughter on
could have just
and
kicked her.
still like it's that whole no rules thing that we were talking about. I think there's a solid 5 seconds where she's just on the floor screaming versus getting up.
I will say, in her defense, because I liked Helen,
Okay. I did too.
it was
I'm just-
probably more shock factor that her daughter is trying to murder her.
Yeah, I'm letting you know right now, Pants. If you come at me and you don't look like Pants anymore, they're like the rules are out the window.
What would I have to look like?
Not like if your eyes don't look like your soul anymore, then I have no.
You think my
What is the
eyes look
word?
like my soul?
Yeah, I can see into your soul through your eyes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you like what you see?
Anyways, so if your soulless eyes are looking at me, then I will do everything I can to...
I mean, but I feel like that look happens like when you tell a long story. Like I just kind of... and I just like check back in every once in a while. I'm like,
that is extremely rude.
I agree with what you said.
I don't know
You're
what to
such
do
a
about
good
you. Oh, I did write
storyteller.
it down. Color TV was introduced in 1954, and I also looked up how much a color TV was, and at the time it was $1,000, which is now equivalent to $7,000.
Nice.
So my colored flat screen TV that is happily mounted on my wall is less than they paid for a small ass box
Perfectly
colored
mounted
TV.
on your wall.
Yeah, we've talked about this. Don't bring up sore subjects, Pants. For those of you who don't remember, Pants put my TV in the sky.
I lowered it. It's fine.
Not enough. And so, yeah, okay. Okay, you're fine. I mean, I did like Helen's character too. I thought that, especially for the time period, she was a very strong female role in this movie. And I also love that she didn't really acknowledge that, like, what am I trying to say? They were obviously unhappy together. And I think that in that time period, women unfortunately had to lean on men a little bit too much.
And divorce was probably
thank God we don't
hella
have to
frowned
anymore.
upon.
Yep. But I liked her character because she stood up for herself.
Yeah.
I was sad to see her die by the hands of her daughter, but it happens when you're in a zombie world.
It does. And I mean, even again comparing it to the remake, spoiler alert for the remake, I'm learning. Cooper is like so much more of an asshole.
Oh, really?
Like, I guess it's more acceptable, just given, the remake was made in 1990, so they
Sure.
could up that a little bit.
Yeah.
But it was that it wasn't hard to watch, like cringy. It was just like you felt for her.
Yeah.
But she did stand up for herself more than this Helen did. Again, I just like to sprinkle the differences every once in a while.
You're good. Yeah, Harry's character was pretty hard to watch. He had a very short temper. Even when he was screaming, it was a little comical to me because obviously it's not real.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I had that mentality about all scary movies. But it was a little alarming even then because, he would like slam things around and get really loud. And it's just kind of that abusive husband. And then you feel bad for that character for being stuck, exactly like we said, in a marriage where divorce is probably frowned upon and she wouldn't have a good time by herself. I loved the news report where they were like, no time for funeral arrangements. Set them on fire. Yeah.
the guy leading the redneck parade, his like main quote was just like, they're dead. They're all messed up.
No one really knows what's going on. Just that they figured out how to kill them and they're just trying to get that around.
Yeah, I did make note, just going back to what we were saying about how Sarah, the daughter, stabs her mom. Remake, she does not. Spoiler alert.
Does she eat her?
She bites her. And the blood splashes on like an identical little shovel. Yeah, so I was like, I see what you did there.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna like, so I don't have to keep, going back to this.
Okay.
I'm going to just name or list off some of like the cooler, like more notable differences I saw in the remake.
Okay.
So I've already spoiled a shit ton of it, but more spoilers for the 1990s or the 1990 remake of Evil Dead. Not Evil Dead. Night of the Living Dead. I wonder how many times I've said Evil Dead.
That's the first time I've heard you do
cool.
it. We re-listened to it. It's like every time. Yeah. I feel like we need to change the title of this podcast if you're going to continue to bring up the 90s version.
No, I'm just...
For those of you listening, I'm sorry. I had no idea he was going to do this. Go ahead, Pants.
I told you it's just been a month. So I said this was going to happen. So they're visiting... Johnny and Barbara are visiting their mom's grave instead of their dad's. Not really like a huge difference, but just I thought it was weird that they made that change. Their horny Barbara thing, that was weird.
Yeah.
Barbara is like super strong, very like female empowerment character. I did mention already that Cooper is worse, and Barbara does get to shoot the zombie who killed Johnny, which I forget how they actually made that distinction, but she does. They find Johnny's body, as I said. Ben, okay, so this is probably like the biggest spoiler for it. Ben turns and then gets shot. But it just shows Ben's character turn around and like his eyes are all glazed over. And so of course that differs from him just getting shot in cold blood. So Ben shoots Cooper in the 68 version, and in this one, Cooper actually goes into an attic space because the whole house that they're in is being overrun by the zombies, and Barbara escapes and then eventually comes back to, I guess she's supposed to be bringing help. I don't remember. I only watched it once, but she actually finds Cooper in the attic space, and he's like, oh my gosh, thank God you came back. He's been a dick the whole time. And she just like pops him in the head. Like she just shoots him cold blood, and the cops are all there because they cleared out the house, and she's like, yeah, I found another one. And then it ends. I'm like, fuck yes, I love you.
Dang.
You're awesome. I would really recommend watching them both. I think they're both really good in their own ways.
Yeah.
Of course the 90s is definitely more modern, but it's a lot more violent. It's a lot more fun, I think. But I did like that in the 68 version, I think they, when they were brainstorming like what caused it, they mentioned radiation from a Venus probe. That it could be creatures from outer space, and they mentioned a cadaver at a university opened its eyes, and that was a quote from a Dr. Grimes, which I think is, well, it's not a reference to I almost did it. It's not a reference to Walking Dead because Walking Dead is now, but I think Rick Grimes might have got his name from this Dr. Grimes. So maybe. I have nothing to back that up. But
okay. Just
who
theory.
knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you done?
Yeah, sure.
I just mean like about the movie in general because I have closing thoughts.
Okay, Tina, do you have any closing thoughts?
But that's not how I want to do it.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. My last comment to make about this movie that I thought was pretty funny. I hate you. Okay, let's just talk about our favorite part of the movie.
No, go. No, continue. I insist.
I hate you. One of the more enjoyable parts of this movie, which we've kind of already touched on, but I didn't tell you exactly how I viewed this, is immediately after, that whole scene where the truck explodes and Tom and Judy die in the truck. Right before
It's
that, by the way.
So close to Tom and Jerry.
It really, yeah, I have
It
to
just
really
dawned on
think
me.
about it. Did it dawn of the dead on you? Anyways, Judy's
it nighted on me.
jacket is caught in the truck door, which is why, Tom goes back to like try and help her get out or whatever. It explodes. They obviously die in the fire. The fire dies down. Mm-hmm. And all the zombies approach the truck and have kind of a little tailgate barbecue.
Yeah, it's adorable.
And feast on Tom and Judy.
Jerry.
On Tom and Jerry. And there's a very cool part where there's a woman on the floor who's a zombie, and she definitely bites into like a turkey leg.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's definitely turkey legs involved.
And I looked at it and I was like, you know what?
That looks so
This
good.
is great. And it kind of made me think about what it would have been like had I been watching this for the first time in 1968, never having seen something that is insinuating eating human flesh,
Right.
and how that would have turned my stomach. And how looking at it now, I'm just like, that's a turkey leg, dude.
I mean, we watched this kind of early in the evening, I guess, and like I can distinctly remember getting that part and being like, "Fuck, I'm hungry." Like I know this is supposed to be like a femur or something, but that looks so good.
That reminds me of like Renaissance Festival turkey legs.
Like,
yes,
so good. But there is a pretty like, I think it's just after that scene you mentioned with the fire, but it shows like all the zombies like feasting, and there's one that's just like going through intestines.
Yeah, that
and
was rough.
Eating it, and I was like, damn, that looks like not good in like I'm hungry, but like good for 1968.
Yeah.
And then there's a close up of this woman zombie like biting off, just like skinning a human hand. Like,
oh yeah, that one was
biting the
weird.
flesh off of a hand, and I'm like, damn, good job, guys.
Yeah.
Like,
And it also
still
does
hungry.
something that it's in black and white, because had they chosen to do this movie in color, especially in that time, that would have been really hard to
make look good, I think.
Right. Yeah, for the audience to read it correctly. So I think that playing it black and white was definitely the right choice.
Yeah. I mean, especially getting like the color of blood right.
Yeah.
And
well, not to mention, blood
flesh.
is a big reason why a lot of movies are rated more towards like R versus,
Oh, we should mention that this came out literally like a month before MPAA ratings
this was
started.
one of the first ones, or one of the last ones to not ever get a rating. Mm-hmm.
So it was like a general audience screening. People could, kids could just waltz in there.
Yeah.
And, there was, there's no warning. It was literally like a month later that they started with the G, PG, and R.
Yeah.
PG-13 came later, but
yeah.
Yeah. So, any final thoughts?
I mean it. This was a great, refreshing film to watch.
Refreshing.
I don't like. I mean, honestly, it really was. It was very different from what we normally do. And most of the time when you recommend movies, they're either going to scare the crap out of me, or I'm just going to be shaking my head and asking why the entire time as I'm watching the film.
Jason X memories.
And this one was great. I really did enjoy it. I thought it was really great, especially for when it came out. And just to watch the evolution of movies, that was really cool.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, I chose this for a reason. It's really good. Whether it doesn't feel so much like it was made in the late 60s.
Yeah.
I mean, it has that feel, but it's kind of timeless in that way.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love this movie, and again, it's streaming in multiple places, HBO Max and Shudder. So anyway, go watch it.
Yeah.
And I think, Dawn of the Dead is on there too, the original, Day of the Dead, all the Deads, all the time of day, Dusk of the Dead.
Is there a Dusk
Twilight
of the
Dead? No.
Oh.
But I think there is a Twilight of the Dead.
Twilight is streaming. I'm sorry, Twilight is trending
I don't care about that.
right now, like everywhere.
I don't care.
Go watch Edward and Bella.
Don't watch that.
Make a little
Shit movie. And a shit
movie.
baby. Spoiler alert for Twilight. Breaking Dawn Part 2.
Pants.
Yes, ma'am.
How would you rate this movie? Where would it fall for you?
I would give this a solid... it's bouncing between 8 and 9. Okay. For this new edition of the show, we can incorporate 0.5s.
Okay, that's cool.
8.5.
8.5.
Yep.
Nice. Okay. You don't have to ask me because obviously you're gonna ask me next. So
Tina. What would you rate this movie?
I was sitting here also, debating that. I don't like halves though, so I would say a 7, leaning more towards an 8 than a 6. So
Okay.
but it is a solid 7.
I feel like you just need to incorporate a half.
I don't want to. I know. I mean, like you said, it was super enjoyable. It was really different from. I don't want to say really different, but it was different from the stuff that we've been doing.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it. It's a classic for sure.
For shizzle.
So unexpected.
All right, guys. So next week we are going to be doing a movie made in the 70s. Mm-hmm. And I actually think the one that we chose is 78. So 10 years after this one. And we will be doing the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Yeah.
Which has been on my list since we started this podcast. And I thought we were going to wait till December, but then I'm like, fuck it. We'll do it now.
Cool.
And so if you want to brush up on that prior to our conversation, it is only streaming on YouTube because George Lucas hates it and Disney didn't want it because it's that great. And they decided to make Rise of Skywalker instead. If you aren't already subscribed, please do so. We are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, every podcasting platform. Be sure you rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. It really does help people find the show. So do a 5-star rating and then write some couple nice words.
Yeah, only nice though, please.
Please don't be negative because we can't take it. And I mean, tell your friends. We would like to, not be at the big 4-0 for like too much longer. So that would be super helpful.
Yeah, for sure. You can also follow us on Twitter at WTFDidIWatchPod. And feel free to email us. That is at WTFDidIJustWatchPod at gmail.com. So...
Oh, shit. I started an Instagram.
Oh, yeah. We're on Instagram now,
Yeah.
guys. Go watch Pants put me into lots of pictures with the lovely tool Photoshop.
Yes. It's not even Photoshop. It's Face and Hold.
Okay, face and... Wow, I haven't heard about that
I
in
know.
a long
I still use
time.
it.
That's funny.
Because I can't Photoshop. So, yeah, watch me face and hold Tina all day.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's WTF Did I Just Watch Pod, I think. May or may not be a Justin
Yeah,
name.
just slowly look us up.
Yeah, you'll see us. But yeah, we will see you guys next week for the Star Wars Holiday Special in August.
Indeed.
Yes. So have a great weekend / week, everyone.
Yeah, thanks so much for listening, guys. We appreciate the support.
Indeed.
See you next week.
Toodles. What the fuckers.
So weird. Team Jacob or Team Edward?
Jacob. Can't fucking stand Edward. I can't stand either of them, but no, definitely Jacob. Especially when it came out, like being like, when was that? High school?
Yeah.
Okay, being like, a young closeted gay boy, I was like, definitely Jacob.
Yeah. You have to give
Taylor Lautner.
you have to give Taylor Lautner like serious props because he buffed out for this role.
Oh yeah.
Like, I mean, I can't even imagine how long it took in the gym to get as ripped as he got for this movie, but
Like, okay,
I'm
Shark
sure
Boy.
that's like the best condition his body will ever be in.
Oh yeah, he doesn't do anything
for
anymore.
this movie. And plus he's warm. Who wants to lay next to a cold body? Like, fuck that shit. Make me into a wolf. Let's go run through the
I
forest.
wouldn't want to lay next to. I already sweat too much at night. Give me a vampire.
Oh.
Why can't Jacob be a vampire?
I just don't want to be holding an ice cube all night.
That's
I
why you
mean,
have
I don't want to
blankets.
hold a space heater either, but I would prefer a space heater
I don't
over
think
an
you
ice
would.
cube.
Sharing like cover space with a
Yeah, we'll
space
just move
heater?
to like Alaska or something. Look at all the moose. They're my favorite animal. It's cold.
They're very dangerous.
Okay. Doesn't
Okay.
stop me from loving them.
Okay. Well, I guess
can
you
still
are
respect
sleeping with
them
a
at a
werewolf.
distance, and
so-
I am sleeping with a werewolf. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just morphs out.
Morphs. Yeah, it's like an animorph.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a transformer.
I forgot about those. That's funny.
Animorphs.
Oh God, we digress.
Oh,
Okay,
yes.
so